Every morning you look in the mirror, but are you actually seeing yourself? Or are you seeing the story you have been telling yourself about who you are? Because here's what I've learned after years of studying human psychology. Radical self-honesty is the rarest quality on earth. Most people will lie, deflect, rationalize, and perform mental gymnastics that would impress Olympic judges, all to avoid one simple thing: seeing themselves as they actually are. The person staring back at you in that mirror isn't just your reflection, it's your biggest competitor, your harshest critic, and unfortunately, your most creative storyteller. We are masterful at creating narratives about ourselves that feel good but have almost nothing to do with reality. I'm a good person. I'm honest. I work hard. I'm a great friend. These aren't facts, they're stories. And until you learn to separate your stories from your actual behavior, you'll stay exactly where you are. Today, I'm going to show you how to conduct the most important audit of your life. A brutally honest self-assessment that will reveal the gap between who you think you are and who you actually are. We'll explore the lies you tell yourself, the blind spots everyone else can see, and the framework that will force you to see yourself clearly. This isn't about self-hatred, it's about self-awareness, because the person who can see themselves honestly is the person who can actually change. Let's start with the lies, the comfortable, cozy lies we tell ourselves every single day. Psychology calls this self-serving bias, but I call it what it is: emotional protection. When you cut someone off in traffic, you were in a hurry. When they cut you off, they're an idiot. When you snap at your partner, you were having a bad day. When they snap at you, they're being unreasonable. These aren't accidents. They're systematic distortions. Your brain is literally rewriting reality to protect your self-image. A study by Pronin and Kugler found that people can easily identify bias in others, but remain completely blind to the exact same bias in themselves. We are walking contradictions who somehow can't see the contradiction. Here's the truth bomb. The stories you tell yourself about your failures are usually excuses, and the stories you tell yourself about your successes usually ignore luck, timing, and other people's help. Now let's talk about blind spots. These are the things everyone else can see about you except you. Your coworker knows you interrupt people constantly. Your friends know you always make conversations about yourself. Your partner knows you never actually listen when they're talking about their problems. But you? You have no idea. I learned this the hard way when a friend told me I was exhausting to be around because I never asked follow-up questions. I was so focused on waiting for my turn to speak that I treated conversations like tennis matches where I was just waiting to hit the ball back. Everyone could see it. I was completely blind to it. This is where the Johari Window comes in. It's a framework with 4 quadrants. There's what you know about yourself and others know too. There's what you know about yourself but others don't. There's what others know about you but you don't. And there's what nobody knows. That 3rd quadrant, that's where your work is. That's your blind spot. And the only way to shrink it is to ask for feedback and actually listen to it. But here's where most people fail. They ask for feedback, but they don't really want it. They want validation disguised as feedback. Tell me how I can improve really means, tell me I'm already pretty great. When someone gives you real feedback, your first instinct is to defend, explain, or dismiss. You're not listening to understand. You're listening to rebut. I want you to do something difficult. Think of one quality you tell yourself you have. Now think of 3 times in the last month you acted in complete contradiction to it. That gap between who you say you are and how you actually behave. That gap is where your real work is. Maybe you tell yourself you're generous, but you haven't helped anyone without expecting something back in months. Maybe you say you're disciplined, but you've broken every commitment you made to yourself this week. Maybe you claim you're a good communicator, but you avoid difficult conversations like they're radioactive. This gap isn't a character flaw. It's information. It's showing you where your self-image has drifted from your actual behavior. And once you can see it clearly, you can start closing it. So how do you conduct an honest self-audit? First, track your behavior for a week without changing it. Just observe. When do you check your phone? How do you respond when someone disagrees with you? What's your actual energy level versus what you tell people your energy level is? Second, Ask 3 people who know you well for one thing you do that undermines your own goals. Don't defend, don't explain. Just listen and say thank you. The goal isn't to agree with everything, it's to see patterns you can't see yourself. Third, look at your results, not your intentions. Your intentions tell you who you want to be. Your results tell you who you are. If you want to know if you're truly disciplined, don't look at your motivation. Look at your bank account, your body, your relationships, your skills. Results don't lie. When you start seeing yourself clearly, everything changes. You stop wasting energy protecting an image and start investing energy in actual improvement. You stop being surprised when people respond to you in certain ways because you understand what you're actually putting out into the world. You stop repeating the same mistakes because you can finally see the patterns. The mirror doesn't lie, but the person looking into it usually does. Radical self-honesty isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming aware. It's about closing the gap between your self-image and your actual behavior. Because you can't change what you can't see, and you can't see what you refuse to look at. The person who can look in the mirror and see themselves clearly is the person who can actually become who they want to be. If this hit you in a way that made you slightly uncomfortable, subscribe because that discomfort means you're growing. And I want you to tell me in the comments, what's one thing you tell yourself you are that your behavior this week might contradict? Let's get brutally honest together.